Morning everybody, it's Saturday the 9th of June, about 8:30 or so. Got the palm sander here that I'm going to go to town with on the top of the bonnet. So this originally came with this pressure sensitive attachment pad. So we're going to unscrew that. So there's a really thin wrench that fits in between here. Show that to you a little bit better. Fits in between the disc and the body of the thing there. And you just grab it and then unscrew the pad. So the pad comes off, obviously reusable. Now what I got all this stuff from Amazon. I'll put links in the description. This is a Flex Edge hook backing pad. Nico, I've bought some stuff from these guys before. Obviously a Chinese company. It's only about a third of the price. You can get 3M ones, and the 3M ones are like $35. This was only like $7 or $9. Why spend? I'd rather buy it 3 times, I think, than to get one from 3M. So, but it's obviously Velcro here, and then you can see how flexible the edge is, and that's so that when I get close to stuff, I don't jam the sandpaper and make a big crease. This, to give you an example, this is also pretty flexible and padded, but it's not as tapered of an end. You can see how much this thing, so the available surface area for flexibility is much greater on that. So we'll put that guy in. Alright, so now we got that on there. Additionally, what I got, now this is 3M. This is a interface pad, and it provides even more sponginess. So you can see it's Velcro here for the for sticking to the bottom. The white goes on the bottom, and then the black is for the actual sanding discs. So this again provides some squishiness and stuff like that, and also tends to protect this thing a little bit, and obviously sticks really well. So now you can see that it's a little bit thicker, a little bit softer. And then the sanding discs, these are our hook and loop sandy discs. These don't have any holes in them. This sander doesn't have any dust removal capability. This little thing here is just the muffler. The holes, so be it. I don't think it really mattered that I got them without, though I don't think you could have found them without holes, at least not the 3M one. Now I did read that it was worth spending a little bit extra money on this interface pad for 3M. I think it was $13 or $14, because they do tend to hold up better than other brands. So I spend a little bit of money on that. So then I got a box of these 320 grit sanding discs. So then we'll get this on this guy, and this has got a pretty good speed regulation on it, so I'm not going to go real fast, and just you know, hopefully don't mess anything up. Another thing I wanted to show you, I bought myself a little present. This is a set of 3M. It's called Work Tunes earmuffs, obviously, and it's Bluetooth capable. There's a couple different versions of these. There's Bluetooth ones, Bluetooth with AM/FM radio, and then just AM/FM radio. So I got the Bluetooth ones because I can just stream radio through them if I wanted to anyway through my phone. But it's, like I said, it's Bluetooth capable, connects right to your phone. So now when I'm doing all this loud work and everything, and I want to listen to some music or whatever, I got it right into my ears instead of not being able to really hear anything. And it provides hearing protection as well, so kind of a twofer. I picked it up from Amazon. The warehouse deals, as I'm a big fan of, it has one little scratch on it that I don't care about, and I think it was like $40, $45, so not too bad. Worth it for me to be able to have a little bit of entertainment, especially during the monotonous blocking. When I showed you guys this the first time, this is a variable speed, which is kind of nice. So you can, if you turn it all the way down, you press the palm thing and it doesn't even work. All the way up. So yeah, pretty good for speed control there, so I'll be taking advantage of that. So I try to, again, minimize what potential damage I'm going to do here. so that's the 320 grit. That went pretty smoothly. Pretty happy with that. I'm going to switch over to 400. Do the 400 grit on there, and then I'll try to show you. I'll look at it with wet it down a little bit, and look at it with a bright light and see if I can see some waviness or whatever. See how that works out for me. Back of the bonnet here, driver's side. This is the latch hole. So now I've got it down through 400 with the palm sander. There is one more step. I will go to 600 wet right prior to putting the sealer coat on, sealer coat of a reduced epoxy primer. Not going to do that today, at least I don't think so. But now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take plain old water and spritz it onto the panel here, and then use a bright light to see if I can see imperfections and stuff. And I expect to see them. I'm not going for perfection here again. Perfection is nice, done is better. But just to point out a couple things here, you can really see this white here. That's the polyester filler, so that obviously needs to get sealed. And I got a metal spot right there and a metal spot right there. So you can see how much difference in height and everything just by looking at this little area, how much waviness and everything is involved. So these darker areas here, that's the build primer, so that's filling in a low there. The lighter gray is the epoxy primer, so that's all essentially, base, I guess you could say. And then the filler is where I went through the epoxy primer, the polyester filler, because I do believe, if I remember right, that everything got at least 2 coats of epoxy primer after the last filler job. You can kind of see some different spots down here. But anyway, so there's the bright light. Obviously, you really can't see any reflection or anything like that. It's just bright. But if you put some water on it, kind of run that water in so it doesn't all beat it up on you. And then look at it with the light. You can see the reflection of the light in there. And I'm hoping to see any imperfections or anything. That's actually looking surprisingly good. And again, I'm focused, I don't know how well this is showing up on the camera, but I'm focused on the reflection of the light that's in the panel. And as it goes, I'm trying to hold it relatively straight. And as it would go over a bump or a valley or something, you would expect the reflection to distort. And I'm just not really seeing that. So that's kind of reassuring, I guess. All right, so I'll continue to do that. I'll spray the rest of the panel. And then obviously going to dry this off. I don't want it to sit wet here. And then move on from there and palm sand out the rest of this thing. So the bonnet is through 400 grit sandpaper with the orbital sander, and I'm concerned for a couple areas. I'm happy with how flat everything is. Yes, there's highs and lows in here, but I'm not going to do any other body work or filler work on it. I'm happy with where it sits. What concerns me, however, is the little scratches that I have in here. Some of that is kind of hard to see. I don't know how well the camera will focus on it, especially in that gray stripe in there in the center. You can kind of see the little white striations. And I'm just afraid that those are actual scratches that won't be covered up by anything and that I'm not getting out. So I think what I might do is, in the next steps, not today I don't believe, is to call it good with the 400, put a coat or two of epoxy as a sealer to get those little metal spots and everything done, and then hit it with 1 or 2 coats of build primer. Not too much, just a couple to try to fill those scratches in. And then instead of blocking from that point, since I'm already happy with how it's blocked, go ahead and do just the DA sander, starting at like 220 grit, or even maybe the 320 grit. I'd have to kind of try it. And hopefully that'll fill those sandy scratches in and let me cheat a little bit in not having gotten the sandy scratches out completely on my way through blocking. But I'm not going to make that final decision today. I'm going to ask around a little bit, take some pictures here if I can, and ask on the SPI form and get their opinion. I think so. For now, I'm going to set the bonnet aside, and I'm going to move on to the body itself and start blocking that out, as much as I am not looking forward to it. I have blocked out through 220 the body and the sills. You can see my cheesy lamp there with the strip of LED lights. And the couple spots that I had came out just fine. That little spot right here, that's no good. And the little spot down there, that's no good. I do have little pits somewhere in here. I'd have to find them again that I forgot about, so I'm going to mix up a little bit more filler and take those out. I found those when I was 220 in it. But otherwise, I'm happy with where it sits, and I'm going to stop with the blocking on the body here. Got a little bit of help to flip the bonnet back over, and now I'm going to go to town with sanding on the inside of the bonnet here and trying to get this down with the palm sander, and then look at keeping going from there. I got some welding to do up there. I'm not going to do that today, but I'll do that before I flip it over again. All right, about 3:20 or so, I'm going to call it a day. It's one of those where I'm going to kind of walk away and think about some stuff. I have not yet decided how I'm going to approach this bonnet. I think there's too many scratches on the top side of it to keep going beyond 400. I think I'll be wasting my time. Otherwise, got everything blocked out at least at least some of the way. I'd be looking at the same options for the body back there, I think, with doing a sealer coat and then build primer. Unfortunately, though, with the bonnet, is I've got two sides to worry about. That's it, and I'll see you next time. Welcome back, everybody. About 10:04, 13th of June. My biggest goal for the evening is two. I'm going to paint the bonnet and the body there in epoxy primer. Get 2 coats on it, 2 full coats. I also have a couple little holes here that I want to fill with just regular fiberglass filler, just some weld hole kind of things. You can see that little guy right there. I also want to put the clips in, the wire clips that I haven't put in. So I've got all these down here, and then one more goes right in here. And then I got to obviously set the booth up. So that's the focus for tonight, and we'll see if I get lucky with doing other stuff. All the tabs are clamped in. The problem is I have to get the epoxy primer off of them. I've already epoxy primered them with a paintbrush a long time ago. But I have to get the epoxy primer off to weld them up. Well, I can't get the drill in there to clean up the epoxy primer. So what I'm going to do is I have them all clamped. As you can see, I'm going to take a Sharpie and I'm going to mark them one at a time so I don't lose track. Take them out, clean it up on the bench, put them back. Got the welder set up. I've explained to you before. Unfortunately, once you paint, it's hard to find a good ground. So what I did is I simply put the grounding strap to one of the tabs and then welded it in. Obviously that gives me a good contact for ground. So now I should be good just about everywhere. So I'm just going to slowly work my way around here and get these puppies welded in. I do have an air hose as well, just to help me with some of the heat. Blow stuff off, because this is this is good paint on here. I'm going to try to save as much of that as I can. Alright, got the tabs in so they can jam me in the arm when I am block sanding. I also have a couple of the areas up here in the footwell that I had not really taken a good job of, and got those kind of filled in. Some spots over there, and that's looking okay. So next up is to start getting everything cleaned up, get the tent set up, which I'll do probably first because I'm going to make a mess doing that, and then move down the road of getting in paint. 6:30, got the paint inducing. But the bonnet is not going to get painted. Just it's too tight in here. I figured I'm not in a hurry. Take my time, give myself a little bit of room. I also expanded out the booth a little bit so that it's on the other side of this lamp up here. Now that we've moved the tool chest to the other side, I don't need to worry about that kind of interference. So I'm just going to take care of the body now. I still have to wax and grease remove it. But all this stuff here and where you see the bare spots and all that, I'm going to get this nice and covered with epoxy tonight. And then the bonnet will come at a different time once I think I'm very close to getting the body ready. I'll try to rotate that 90 degrees, or maybe even move the paint booth up or something like that, whatever, and just do the bonnet at that point. So the compressor just seized on me. I got about, a third of the car painted and the thing locked up. So That's obviously going to put a wrench in the works and slow me down a little bit. I'm sure I can find other stuff to do, but right now I'm a little dejected, a little upset. Got to figure out what the garage mate wants to do. It was his compressor. I've been using it mostly, so definitely going to have to come to an agreement there. But you know, good enough. We'll see.